Hi, everybody. Hello. So excited to be here with you guys. Normally, I go live on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, which that will be the case this week as well. But today is really a special day because I will be joined here in a minute by Elizabeth Ralph, who is the spiritual investor. And Elizabeth and I talk so much about the same things. We talk about them in slightly different ways. But Elizabeth is actually one of my mentors, and because I decided I wanted to really learn the world of investing. As my business has taken off and I've done even better for myself, this is something I really wanted to develop. So I hired Elizabeth to work with me on that, and she is going to be joining me here in just a moment to talk about intuition, the quantum field, uh, things things like breaking down these old structures of being and learning the way that we have always done things. There's a new paradigm coming forth. So, yeah. Hi. Hello. Okay. All right. Here she comes.
Hi, how are
There
you?
we are. Hey.
Yay. Oh my gosh.
Good. How are you?
So great to connect with you.
I'm so excited. Yeah, thank you so much for doing this
Absolutely.
together. It's it's wonderful to be in your energy anytime, whether it's listening to the podcast, being inside of the Spiritual Investor Program, which has been a huge blessing. I was just telling everyone that as my business took off and I started doing so much better for myself as a single mom of three sons, when I heard you for the first time on your podcast and I heard the way you were talking and we speak, it's like I feel like we speak the same language, maybe from a different dialect or a slightly different point of view. I was like, oh my God, she gets it. She knows the whole world of investing from an intuitive place. And
Uh,
that's how we connected.
so
So
good. Well, I'm so
yeah.
happy to have you in the program, and I'm so glad that you love it and that it's connected with you. I feel like this information, like, it either deeply connects with people or it doesn't, and I'm okay with that either way. That's great, because I think I'm just a deep connector or not at all, right? And so we're really just going out, and like I was talking about this morning, I recorded a podcast and I was talking about, like, this is just personal evolution, like 101, because it's just, we're just applying it to our own businesses.
Totally, totally. And what I think one of the things that I talk with my clients about is
Yeah.
how it's okay to be polarizing. And like when you are saying something that is, we talk a lot about the new paradigm, like, because that's really what we're doing is we're building this new paradigm as all the older structures kind of start crumbling with the collective. People like us are coming in and saying, okay, there's something totally new coming in, and that's either going to really, really resonate with the right people, or it's going to,
Yeah.
or it's not.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's
well,
totally
just to
cool.
reflect something back to you. So the thing that really jumps out with your content and just you as a being is you're very clear and concise. And so you are really, really, you have like an understanding of, like you call, like a thinking mind, like the textbook kind of process, because you are so clear and concise. But like you also play in the other space as well. And so I feel like you are perfectly aligned to be helping people step into that next world, especially people who have really been more, like thinking mind based. We call, I don't know, call it 3D or whatever, right? So that's just, it's amazing. And if we can bring people with money into it, it's even better, right? Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's really my
Yeah.
dharma, I guess. I I was going that path. I was going to, medical school and that whole thing. And then everything just kind of pivoted and shifted. And it was like, oh, okay, I'm actually going to talk about my psychic
Yeah.
gifts out loud while owning the intelligence, the textbook intelligence that is also there. And I've never seen a divorce between science and spirit.
Yeah.
It's just never existed in my world. And so I think that's where we can start kind of talking about what you do as well, where it's like taking that really 3D paradigm of money, investing, like you worked on the trading floor, like you were all the way in it, we could say in the matrix. And now here you are building brick by brick the new paradigm for people who do want to do well for themselves in this world. I think we share the same value that we believe that the spiritual people should be the wealthiest
Yes, I think
people
they
on the
will
planet.
be. I think they will be because money is
Yeah.
energy. So yeah, well, it's funny because I actually have a degree in microbiology. I was headed for medical school too, so I'm not that different than a lot of your people. And then I took a hairpin turn and I went back to school for finance
Oh
and all
God.
that. So um, yeah,
Oh my God.
so
I didn't
the
know that.
the real reason actually that I even started playing in this quantum field money space is because it kind of started happening to me, and then I was like, holy shit, this is working and this is the accelerated path. I mean, when I was working on the trading floor, I was like, this is a great job. I love it, but I don't want to be doing it my whole life because it was really intense. So I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to buy my way out of it. Well, I had like my whole spreadsheet plan and I was investing, I'd invest on my bonuses and things like that. And that was working well. But then I was getting really depressed. Like I would come home and I would just working all day and I would come home and I would just lay on the floor and cry because I was like, and I was meeting my goals and I was upset, right? If that doesn't tell you it's not about money, right? So then what ended up happening
Yes.
is horses came into my life. And then I got my strong why, which was helping horses. All of a sudden, I started bringing this in. Then I created a business and I donated part of the profits to horses. And then I met horse people all over the world. And I was like, and then everything started happening fast, right? So more and more money kept coming in through this new channel of my strong why. And I was like, and I stepped back, I went 20 rows back in the movie theater and I was like, holy shit, which one's more powerful and which one's more important to me? And then what I did is I said, I'm keeping both. I'm a parallel kind of person. I am keeping the 3D and I'm going to keep throwing those bonuses at real estate and the stock market because that's my world anyways. I'm a finance person and I'm like, you know what? And then I'm also going to play in the other space. And that's effectively how the Spiritual Investor Program was formed, which, as you know, is the merging of the two, right? It's taking us beyond this conversation of feeling good about money and money manifestation. That's all perfect. That's what we needed to hear at that point in the journey. But I think we're ready for a more advanced conversation, which is you can't just feel at ease about money. You can't just have that feeling. You got to bring it down. You're almost like conceptually playing in the quantum space and bringing it down to the 3D. And then you're learning from that process and then you're going back up. It's like grabbing it from the clouds rather than grabbing it from your mind.
Yes. Yes, totally. That is where I feel like so many medical professionals who have been in my life, it's like on the outside they've got it made. It's like, they've got the quote dream job, the dream family, the dream this, the dream that, but how burnt out are they because they're still operating in a place with insurance and with the requirements of this and with that and with this and with that, and it's just not feeding the soul. And it's like, can you keep
Yeah,
both?
you can.
Yes, you can, from
Yes,
a different
yes, exactly.
space. Like on the outside, yeah, it doesn't have to look all that different, but it changes everything once your soul starts going through this
Yeah,
evolutionary process and you start following the more intuitive, whatever we want to call it, spirit led, soul led practices, things that are waking you up from the inside out. and then
Yeah.
everything changes. I love what you said about going into the quantum field consciously, and it's almost like you have a menu board and you're like, okay, what do I want? Do I want this, or do I want that, or this? Like, we live in a manifesting platform. I feel like that's what this place is. And we can absolutely create the lives that we desire to create, especially in this part of the world where we're so fortunate to have these opportunities. And going forward, one of the things you and I were talking about is like, going forward, things are moving at such a fast pace that whether it's in finance, the world of finance, whether it's in the medical industry, it's like you cannot keep up with all the literature that's coming out. You can't do it fast enough without really developing this more intuitive side. So strengthening those muscles and learning how to, at will, go into that place and alchemize and create and do things and pull it in. That's the only thing that's going to work fast enough in the world of AI and
Yes,
the way that we're going.
And we have, as you know, we have an AI bonus workshop coming up as well with Holly. It's going to be amazing, talking about, you know, how we get back more of our time during the week. Like, people, I didn't realize this until, you know, because Holly is one of the leaders in the AI field and is really making decisions on behalf of a $1 billion company right now. The fact that she's coming in and we're going to co-create this workshop is like blowing my mind anyways, right? That's that expansion factor. But I didn't realize until I talked to her that she's like, oh, you know, moms, stay-at-home moms, people that are working, anyone can be saving 3 to 4 hours a week right now if they know how to use generative AI. So that's one of the things we're going to talk about. People are always like, time. Another thing is, everybody wishes that they bought Amazon at $22, right? There's always in the market, there's always a wave of something. Like, opportunity is always there. That's one thing that doesn't change, right? So, you know, it's getting on board with things like this as well. And, you know, something else that you and I talked about is that now is the time to learn how to feel money, you know, because
Yes.
I think it was Gary Vee who was talking about this the other day when he's like, oh, beware, we're not going to be able to know what video in the future is AI versus just a person talking, right? So we're already living in a world where it's like, well, what can you freaking trust here, right? And that's why it's important what you're teaching, because what you're effectively teaching is you're teaching them how to build up their system to bypass that, which is something that we need to be able to do, but is also effectively a protection factor as well, I will say. And money is a big thing. Yes. Money is fear for a lot of people. Money is security. Money is love. Money is expansion. Money is sending kids to college. Money is all these things, right? In my opinion, there's nothing more important than learning how do you feel money, so that you know when someone's in front of you and they're telling you something, you're like, no, that's not right. That's not right.
Yes.
You know?
God, yes. That is a superpower that I think we both share, which is amazing. And it's a joy to bring that to other people, because all I have to do is look at someone's photo or look at a video. I actually can tell what's generated and what's not. I just know in my guts, I feel it.
Yeah.
I know in my guts what is human, what's not human. I also know which humans are vibrating at which frequencies. And it's taken some work to put this into a formula, but I have done that, and I'm continuing to co-create that inside the School of Intuition. It's a beautiful thing. This is something that kind of was kept on lockdown, because I'm also from a part of the country where you're from. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, so horse country galore. But yes, beautiful country, but also like not really okay in the 80s and
Oh,
90s
oh
to
no,
really
it's
talk
still
about
not to
these
a certain
things.
degree. I mean, my uncle just reminded me. I was like, I don't know what you do. What like you know what, your job. You need to start. Do you have a backup plan? That's what he asked me. I'm like, don't you know me? Have I ever had a backup plan? I was like, do you really think I would actually spend energy on a backup plan? Because that's energy I'm not putting on the original plan.
We go all in. We go. I know that
Yes,
we're both
yes.
manifesting generators. I'm a 5-1.
4-6.
Do you know what your
Four
numbers are? I'm
six.
curious.
Yeah.
4-6. I have so many 4-6s in my life. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, you've got to learn it
Yep.
for
I
yourself
know.
and do it for yourself. And the
Oh
5-1
yeah.
is the rebel.
Okay.
Yeah. So if someone tells me to do something, they're actually telling me to do the exact opposite. So
Oh my God. My horse does the same thing.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's just, yeah. No, it's amazing. It's really amazing to be creating these places, the Spiritual Investor Program,
Yeah.
the School of Intuition, where
Yeah.
we're actually creating a culture that's speaking in these ways about these superpowers and these psychic gifts and whatever, these intuitive knowings. This is actually
You're right. It
becoming the
is.
new norm. And we're just we're on the beginning of the wave cycle. Like we're just at the beginning. We're not even close to that crest
Gosh.
of that wave.
The
But
fact that
it's
you can
so
feel
fun.
people's vibration, I'm reading a book right now by Penny Pierce called Frequency. Have you heard of that book? And I
I
just,
haven't.
it's one of those things where like when you start to get into it, you start to go, okay, you start to crave a little bit of this, like, like sort of you want to like go into like the different corners of the room. So yeah,
Yeah,
I love what you're doing.
totally.
So, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. What is
Of course.
can I put you on the spot? What is what's your dream? What's Elizabeth Ralph's
That's
dream?
a good one. That's a good one. I've been visualizing about that. I'm working with a coach. When I went on the Camino, I knew that I was going to be different on the other side. So I went ahead and I hired this woman, and she's an energy worker. She's totally different, right? Because I like to just do things that are different, right? And I said, I want to start with you 3 weeks after. And so she's been asking me to do this, like almost like project it out, like what do you want, because like it's a very Neville Goddard thing, because that's what you're going to get, right? Like you can only imagine, you there is no result out there that you can't imagine, because they're one and the same thing. So for me, I think dream definitely for me, and this has been a throughput my entire life, by the way, is to write a book that comes from the depth of everything, the depth of me, the consciousness that was, before me, the co-creation of the people around me, to write something that can be so readily used by individuals, by every individual. That's definitely the dream. And so everything kind of has always kind of rolled up to that. I have written different reiterations of it. I'm just now, post Camino, starting what I'm considering the final iteration of it. So, yeah, I feel like I
Oh
needed to
my God.
actually be this version to do it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like been a gift that other things kind of came in. And, another part of it was I felt very strongly about building up the spiritual investor program to a certain level beforehand, because that really has it's taught me how to step into like my own with this, but also helping people gives you feedback, right? And it helps you go, okay, well, how
Totally.
do people how can they understand this concept better? They asked me 5 questions about it. I'm like, oh, I'm not saying it right, or something like that. So I think definitely the public speaking, the book, all that stuff. That's definitely next. We're even talking about an in-person event for the spiritual investor, and so just connecting
Oh
with
my
people
God.
on that level. I think ultimately, I think a lot of us just want to connect is really what it comes down to. I mean, money is the result of
Yeah.
things. I don't like, it's so funny because I don't have like all of these specific like rolling up to money goals because I understand that money is the result. I have plans that I have a knowingness about, but also a detachment to that end up in those money goals, which I think is a different place because you're focusing on a different point of the spectrum, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's beautiful. That is what I would call a legacy dream. That is like, that's a legacy dream that when it does come fully into 3D, I was a childbirth doula for a long time. So I talk a lot about like when this is birthed the whole way, um, it will send ripple effects for generations. Like that's incredible. I just wanted to thank you for sharing that. Our dreams are really
Yeah.
vulnerable. They are like our
Yeah.
babies, and it's amazing to witness you really leading the way, like going first, expanding
Mhm.
publicly in front of other people. I do the same thing, and even just that, even just getting
Yeah.
over the whole thing about being visible and being really vulnerable in front of people, but doing that, this is all alchemy. This is all setting the stage for the new paradigm with this new age, the next couple of millennia. Like the work, which it doesn't feel like work. It
Mhm.
feels like we're playing and creating, but I don't think we could be doing
No, I
anything more
agree. And
important.
thank you so much for asking too, because you know, all of this that we're doing, everyone's dreams and desires, like I feel like we are the leverage factor for one another in terms of that expansion, especially when we come together and get ourselves in an environment, if you will, of people around us that are supporting and seeing that and all of that. Like nothing gets done alone, you know, and that was a big
Yeah,
expansion factor for me in my business when I finally realized I was like, the more I let go of actually within my business, the lower the resistance is, and the more it puts me in position to do the things just like this, right? I mean, I strategically cleared time. I literally shut down the part of my business working with people directly, one-on-ones, right? That was a big revenue stream. But I said, if I don't, how am I going to have the energy to write the book? How am I going to be able to spend more time with the students and doing things like this with amazing people like you? And so it's that it's that energy. Like we all have that. Where are you going to put that energy? And so I so appreciate you um, sort of bringing this all together and helping people basically direct their beautiful energy in what I would say is a brand new way.
thank you so much. I get really emotional every time you talk about it, but and that's actually an intuitive confirmation that like
Yeah,
that
it
this
is.
is the right path.
You feel
Um,
people. And so, yeah, you do.
I do.
And that's what's so
Yeah, I do.
amazing. Thank God I get to come across people like you. If I hadn't started this, I would not write it.
That's I have a family member I'm really close to, my sister, and she's not on dating sites anymore,
Oh,
but she would send me photos like, okay, read this
really?
person, and I'm like, no,
Really? That's
no, yeah,
fascinating.
oh yeah,
Oh my God. See, I can't do all that. Like we all have our separate talents or whatever, but like, you know, I could sit in a room and like five people around and I don't really know. I can't really tell you a lot about them, you know, but
oh,
I know.
we should talk. It it freaks. It really has a tendency to freak
Wow.
people all the way out when I share
Wow.
what I can really see. It's clear to me. And one of the messages I got recently, yesterday or the day before, I heard
Oh yeah.
you are
Yes,
a
I can see
seer,
that. I can see that in you for sure.
and
Yes. Yes, yes. That's the thing. Like,
thank
I
you.
can't
Thanks.
see people necessarily in the layers that they are, like the multidimensional being that they are. what I can see is, as I can see, like this is going to sound really weird, but you know, we're talking in this world anyway. So, um, what I can do is, if when I'm in the energy and I'm connecting with them, I can. It's almost like I'm pulling a thread from the future, and that all always and all has to do with their potential. And so what I do is I keep holding that on their behalf. And so then all they're doing is I'm just helping them through, you've been through the coaching stuff and all that. I'm just helping them step up to that without telling them what I see, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that, and that's,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Yeah, as a
literally
coach,
just all
it
I
does
do
make
over and over
sense.
again.
Like
That's the trick. It's done. That's
it
all I
is.
do.
Yeah, totally. It's amazing that we can sometimes it's easier to
Yeah.
hold the dream for other people
Yes,
than it
totally.
is even for ourselves, because we're not in their trench with them on those days that they want to give up. But when we want to give up on our legacy dream, it's like, oh my God, like what, you know, we're all human.
Yes,
We all have
yes. Had
days.
plenty of those days. And
Yeah,
you probably do too. You have three, did you say three boys?
absolutely.
Oh my
I have three sons.
gosh. How do
Yeah.
you
And
you must be doing
it's,
laundry and making food constantly, right?
you know, it's, well, I finally have hired a personal chef, which is just one of
Yay.
my personal dreams come true. Because, like, I like to cook once every 2 weeks
Yes.
from a meditative place, and my
Right.
boys like to eat 5 times
Exactly.
a day.
The math
And
doesn't work,
I
right?
also have a business. No, it doesn't. So, because it's me and myself and I doing this alone, I'm not alone. You know, this is where expansion comes in. This is where, honestly, Elizabeth, I follow my intuition everywhere I go. And it led me right up to my dream personal chef. Like, that's just one of those areas that I consistently felt inept in my life. I was like, I cannot fuel these children enough. They're athletes. I mean, God, 16, 13,
Wow.
and almost 10 years old. So this is where one of the posts I made recently was, can you imagine the universe just showing up and supporting you before you even know where to ask or how to ask? Because being such a self-reliant, independent person, asking for help
Yes.
was never my strong suit. But learning this magic of following the intuitive waves every minute of every day to the best of my ability, the support just keeps showing up and showing up. And also the money does. So, and I keep going through those states of contraction and expansion and contraction and expansion, but it's just, it's a
It
beautiful
is.
new paradigm.
God,
That's all I
such
can
an
say.
amazing conversation. Wow. Oh my gosh.
I've been looking forward to this. I actually, now I can share with you in
Yes.
front of both of our audiences. You came to me
Really?
once or twice in the dream state, and we had beautiful conversations outside your horse's fence
Really?
row.
Oh my God,
So,
that's amazing. Thank you so much for
yes.
telling me that. I love that. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's beautiful. So it's just an honor. It's a true honor to be in your energy and
Thank
to have
you.
had this
Oh my God,
conversation.
I feel the same. How amazing was this? Seriously, made my day, my week, all of this. How incredible. Yeah.
Ditto. Oh my God. Yes. So I think we went over. I have a
I know.
feeling we could like go for hours, but probably we should wrap it up. You are at Elizabeth Ralph, obviously, so anyone can go over and find you. You're very active on Instagram, and your podcast is the bomb. I don't know if anyone says that but me anymore. That's a few decades old.
Oh God.
I
Thank you.
love the podcast, so please, yeah, go over to her profile. My
Yes.
profile's at Alchemy with Allison. I coach business owners. I coach really, if you don't have a business, but you have a legacy dream, if you have a healing gift, medical professional, um, if there's a legacy dream inside of you and you want to know how to get there from a more intuitive place and a less linear, logical textbook place, there's there are ways to do that, and we can even get there from a formula, and we can get in and kind of work this other thing.
So good.
Yeah,
So good.
so
All
fun.
right. Well, thank you. And I'll
Yeah,
see you
thank you.
in the group. I appreciate this so much, Allison.
Me too. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Bye.
Namaste. Okay. Bye.